All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, happy to be posted up at OWE, and I'm joined by Buck Gunderson. How's it going there, man?
I'm doing quite well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of wondering what this means to you. It seems like an event of a pretty significant magnitude in the sense that it's like a Chinese pro wrestling foray into the Canadian market, like some new fans kind of being exposed to all of that, and you get to be in the opening match. What does this night mean to you, and I guess represent to you?
This night means quite a lot to me. It's the first Chinese branded pro wrestling show in Canada. And it's the first show in the big string of shows for this big wrestling week here in Toronto. And I'm in the first match. And I'm wrestling the first ever Chinese-born Canadian citizen professional wrestler. And I'm the first Canadian who ever pro wrestled in China.
Yeah, for
sure.
So
it's a lot of firsts. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on the Chinese style, for anybody who maybe hasn't been exposed to it? What would be, a succinct way to try to sell them on it or describe it to them, I suppose?
Well, in terms of the OWE style in particular, I know that a lot of their talent has roots in Kung Fu and the arts of the Shaolin monks. So it's a very unique style that has sort of never been seen before. In China, pro wrestling is relatively new. In the last 5 to 10 years, it's when its history began. It's a short history, and there's a lot of influence, especially in the OWE, with regards to bringing in their traditional martial arts into the pro wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very exciting permutation of pro wrestling, and that's going to be the fun thing about this week, as you mentioned. There's so many different permutations and styles, like the Chinese style of pro wrestling. There's going to be some European style wrestling throughout the week. It's great.
Yeah, there's so much this week. There's the WXW shows, there's Smash Wrestling showcasing their local stuff with a mix of international talents as well. There's the all women's wrestling show, and of course there's the big show Sunday night.
Yeah, and what was the experience? Because you mentioned being the first Canadian to wrestle in China. What was that? Because the inverse experience almost. So what was it going over there and getting to do that?
That was an amazing experience. Going over there, that show, I got to meet a lot of international talents. There was talents from over 21 countries on that show, and I was spoiled in regards to always having a translator nearby. And with wrestlers from so many other countries, there was Japanese wrestlers, there was other wrestlers who spoke English. So it was unique in that although the experience of going to China, and there was that aspect of being in China, but then there was this other aspect of the show where it's so international, like nothing I'd ever even heard of. It was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes, in a generalized sense, say with a Japan crowd versus a North American crowd, it seemed like different psychology resonates with them in different kind of ways. Did you notice, I guess the Chinese crowd respond to any storytelling methods in particular, some normative things maybe they didn't respond to, anything on that end?
Sure. With regards to the Chinese crowd, as far as the locals who were in attendance, they seemed to watch it more like it was a play and just taking it in even more quiet than, say, a Japanese crowd, although they were quite interested in the goings-on. A lot of the audience was expats who served as sort of cheerleaders, because they were used to watching wrestling fans from the UK, and they sort of taught the Chinese fans how to watch and engage in pro wrestling.
Yeah, and we're talking about everything going on this week with all the different events. Obviously, OWE, a bit of a microcosm for what's going on, but on a macrocosm level, seems to reflect a very healthy Ontario indie wrestling scene. So what are your thoughts on the general health of the Ontario indie scene as we're getting forward with this big week?
Since I've been involved with Ontario indie wrestling, this is my 11th year involved in Ontario indie wrestling, I would say this is the healthiest it's ever been. It's onward and upward. It just seems every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to check out a lot of the Oshawa shows, the GCW ones at the Legion Hall and stuff like that, and it seemed like there was a lot of great talent on the Ontario indie scene, so I definitely share that sentiment that all the talent's just really rising and just performing at a high level. But you've been really great with your time, man. Is there anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping things up?
Absolutely. On all social media, you can find me as Buck Wrestles, all one word. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Buck Wrestles. Find out what I'm up to when I'll be in China next. And of course, check out OWE Toronto, and hopefully there's more from OWE Toronto in the future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope so too. Looking forward to the show. Looks great already. And yeah, just appreciate the time, man. Thanks again.
Thank you. Take care. Enjoy.